Welcome everyone. In this video I'm going to show you how to use the Japanese wiki of Kamihime Project. As to why use the Japanese one, as you may know, Notaku side is about a year behind compared to the Japanese one, so you can look up here future stuff, and I think this still is the most reliable source of information for the game. So if you follow the link in the description, you will get here to the main page of the Japanese wiki. And unsurprisingly, it is in Japanese, so Google will probably offer you to translate it. But if not, you just right click and translate to English. Obviously it's not going to offer you the most accurate translation, but it's good enough to work with. For this video I'm going to introduce the more basic stuff on the Japanese wiki and going for more in-depth parts in the second video. So if you want to look up information, you will have to use this menu on the left side, and we are starting off with event list. You will always see a general introduction to the page you see first, and then you will see the actual information. As I mentioned before, we are a year behind, so if you want to look up the upcoming events, you will have to scroll down to the previous year of the same date. So as of the current date, we are going to have last reprint as the next event. Let's click on it for more information. You will see a short introduction to the event first, and then the enemy status will give you information about the boss, like how much HP it has, what overdrives it does, and here at the text part you will also be able to read about the fight in more detail. Moving on, you will see the rewards of the event, and here you can see a reward table of the second reprint of Lost for 1 year behind reasons. If you want to see the first reprint reward table, you will have to open this drop down menu, and here you go. Ideally there will also be a summary table at the end of the reward table, like this one, but this is for the second reprint. You will also see a table for the reward weapons and eidolons, what their effects are and what their stats are. And as this is going to be a ranking event, you will also be able to see here the table for the ranking rewards. Okay, let's move on. Next up is the buff and debuff effect section. Here you will see a list of all the buffs and debuffs of the game, and say let's go for this defense down section, and you will see here the abilities with defense down effect. You will see their effect amount, their frame, and their name. You will also see them colored with their corresponding element, and if you hover your cursor over it, you will also see which unit has this ability. So let's go with this A 20% defense down that Huster has apparently, and if you click on it, you will be led to the page of the unit. Here you can see the rarity, the element, what stats it has, what burst abilities and passives, and also you can scroll down for a bit more detail about them. Moving on, you will see why Google Translate is not really the best translate ever, but you will see here all Heineke list. This is going to be the sole list. Another thing is that Google Translate might change over time, but the positions are going to be the same. So let's click on it and see first legendary soul list, and then elite souls, and finally the standard ones. Again, if you click on them, you will see more details. Another thing to note is that, for example, if you check this one, it's not something of our current state of the game. It's a future feature. So if you want to just check on the current stuff, then you can ignore the parts that you are not aware of. Moving on, we will have this Shinki section. This is supposed to be the Kamihime section, and you can sort them by rarity. Say if you click on this SSR, you will see the SSR Himes listed, and you can look up their element, their stats, whether if they have awakening available, and what mythology they are from. And again, if you click on them, you will see the details about them. Going to the Code of Awakening section, you will have a general introduction to the awakening system, and you will be able to look up the implementation date of them. Note that Nutaku side apparently introduces them about a week earlier than the Japanese side, so look out for that while looking up the awakenings. Moving on to the weapon section, again you can sort them by rarity. Clicking on SSR, you will see the SSR weapons listed by element. So if you want to see water weapons, you will have to scroll down, and similarly to wind weapons, then thunder, light, and dark. Scrolling back, you can look up the type, then the stats, the burst effect if there is any, their skills, and if they are a Kamihime release weapon, then what Kamihime they release, and finally where you can obtain them from. So you can see some blue stuff here. This is going to be the stats and effects after the final limit break. If you don't know what this is going to be a fourth limit break to the weapons later introduced, and it's going to be a bigger upgrade to your weapons, so look forward to it. Moving on, you will see this only for the spirit section. This is the soul weapon section, and if you click on it, you will see what their effects are. Then moving on, you will see this weapon skill section. Here you will be able to look up which skill has what kind of effect, and if you scroll down, you will see the numerical values for each skill level for the skills. Then moving on to Eidolon section, you will most likely be interested in the SSR Eidolons. So first you see the gacha Eidolons, and if you scroll down, you will also be able to see the event Eidolons. Here is the element, then the stats, the summon effect, and the passive on zero limit break. Here is the cooldown on their summon effect and what event they are from. If you click here, you can again see the details of the event, and if you click on the Eidolon name, you will see the details of the Eidolon. Now moving on to accessory, clicking on SSR, you will first see the ancient accessories, which are again future stuff. So if you want to look up the normal SSRs, you will have to scroll down. Right here there will be the stats listed here and how many effects they have. Then moving on to accessory overview, you will see here what effects they have and what their numerical values are, and also if there is a known upper limit, they will be listed right here. Then moving on to enhancement of accessories, here you can look up how much experience you need for each level, and then this is the table for the cumulative experience necessary. Then you can look up for each rarity how much experience value they give as an enhanced material, and finally you can look up how much experience value they have if you level them up used as an enhanced material. We're going for the shop section next. Here I'm going to show you only one thing that's might be interesting: the Eidolon shop. It's hopefully going to be soon introduced. At the very least, it was introduced at the Japanese side on the 10th of August of the previous year. After this gets implemented, you will be able to sell Eidolons for orbs, and for these orbs you will be able to exchange various stuff like draconic eye shards, energy seeds, half elixirs, limit break materials up to SR rarity, books, previous raid Eidolons, accessories, and a copy of each element Kaiser Dragoon. Also note that if the stock says May, it's going to mean that you can exchange 5 per month. Similarly, if it says 5 days, then it's going to be 5 times available each day. And finally, we are going for the Getcha section. Here you will see the various Getchas listed. What's going to be interesting is the list of the implementation date of Kamihimes and Eidolons. So again, we are a year behind, not exactly, but a few days difference at best. So you can see here the implementation date, the SSR ones, the SR ones, the R Himes, and the Eidolons. And here you can see which event they get introduced with. This is about it for this video. If you have any questions, I left a link in the description for the Discord server of Kamihime Project. Ask your questions there. If you want to know more about how to use the Japanese wiki for, say, getting to know how the damage calculation goes, or know more about the final limit break stuff, or just look up maintenance history for future stuff, then make sure to check out my next video on this Japanese wiki. Thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next video.